podcast is back on, and I am happy to report that I am safely back home, back from the 2025 NORRA 1000, which was, 6 days. It started in Ensenada and ran all the way down to San Jose del Cabo. I'd like to report that we won our class, which was Legend Buggies with Jim Greenway in a 1600 car, and then we also won the overall in the Legends class. And I'll get into all the details of how that happened, what transpired, all the cool stuff that happened. So this episode might go long because I'm going to get into a lot of information of just what happened over the last 6 days that I was racing the NORRA 1000 again. And I will say, that me and Jim Greenway, we won back-to-back class and the overall back-to-back 2024 and 2025. So that was awesome. And there was some adversity, some challenges out there during those 6 days. And I'll try and break it down as much as I can per day as far as what we did, how we did, and I'll try and give it as much information as I can because me personally, I'm pretty excited. I was very it was an awesome run to be a part of again and be invited by Jim Greenway to help him navigate to the finish line every single day and every mile. And if you were just not aware of how many miles we were doing for the NORRA 1000 this year in 2025, it was a total of 1,418.9 miles. That's race stages plus transfer stages, which are all, different mileage and kind of ran a little different. I did have some people during the week when we were racing it, they were messaging me and asking me about stuff. And I will be more than glad to help anybody learn what to do, what not to do, some of the things that kind of when it comes to transferring from a race to a transfer station or anything else like that. I'm more than glad to help anybody out that wants that help in some way. But again, it was a blast to win it back to back. And there's already talk from Jim and Bob Howell, who prepped that car here in Yuma, Arizona. Did an amazing job of prepping that damn thing and just giving us a solid car to make it to the finish. And there's already talk about doing it again next year for a three-peat, which is going to be a tough one to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and only time will tell what we end up doing there. But again, ran the 2025 NORRA 1000 with Jim Greenway in the Legends Buggy class, and just came out with a win. So one of the cool things is that I will say, as of this year, it was pretty cool that from working with Baja Brian on some of the stuff with the navigating stuff that I'm learning and doing more stuff that has helped me, with the trophy trucks and spec trucks, was that one of the things that I'm very, very, like, I can't say enough of how happy I am that Baja Brian insisted that I get my own Lowrance HD, system to be able to use it at home and mess with it, know how to use it. And I just want to give a shout out to Baja Brian for, giving me that push into getting that piece of equipment and being able to work on it anytime I could, because it helped me tremendously for the NORRA 1000 and to be able to be ready. Plus every day or every night before the race, it was nice that I could, make my own notes, put some stuff in it that I knew that I needed to watch out for the night before when I was in a hotel. And again, that would not have been able to happen had I not listened to Baja Brian and in him, suggesting that I get my own Lowrance unit that I could use at home and make my own notes and start doing some of the stuff. So Brian, thank you so much for, just telling me to get one of those units, because it's one of the best things that has happened to me as far as navigating so far. and being able to help those teams. So thank you, Baja Brian, again for telling me to do that. And so again, we got the maps. You get I think you get them like 2 days before the start of the NORRA race, and you just download them, and then you can start putting your own little notes. Obviously, there's no pre-running on them, but the guys at one of the things I have been asked is how well does NORRA do when it comes to putting the notes, and I will say that they do a great job. They do an awesome job. I think a lot of the notes are great, and I know one of the things that they're trying to do is get away from getting, I think, GPS notes for like some of the old systems that are out there. And so, just having the new unit, that HDS 12, for me anyway, was a great help. And seeing that I have to wear glasses, it really helps to have a big screen as well. So, we started off on Friday was contingency, and I also want to say I really appreciate that Erica Sachs was courteous enough to offer me a ride to Ensenada on Friday that I needed to get to contingency because my team was leaving on Thursday, and I couldn't, leave work until Friday. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Erica Sachs for, giving me a ride, taking me down there, and just giving me the opportunity to be one less thing to worry about, and picking me up in San Diego and taking me along just as a passenger to Ensenada and start the race over in Ensenada. So that started on Friday. Friday was contingency. Everything went great. There was really nothing that other than going through the notes and some of the basic information that needed to be explained as far as some of the transfer protections, and then the 10-minute fueling zones that there were special sections that we're doing for UTVs that couldn't go the length of certain race stages. There were some 10-minute sections within there that everybody had to follow and make sure, just kind of make it a fair playing field for everybody. So, but again, the people at NORRA did an awesome job of setting everything up. We went qualifying, or we didn't qualify, but there was qualifying for UTVs and a couple of the other classes on Friday. And so we staged, got everything through. We were ready Friday, and Saturday morning was the first day of the race. And Saturday morning was let me see this. Saturday was going to be from Ensenada to San Felipe, and that was going to be a total of 198.1 miles. There was, let me see here, three race sections and 3 transit sections that day. So if you are wondering what a transit section is, so transit section is where you're going to start in one area and finish at another one to start a race section. And for example, when we took off on Saturday morning, we took out of Ensenada, and then we drove from the start line to, which was a transit station section of 16 miles, all the way to Rancho Nelson. And your race section started at Rancho Nelson. And normally you'll have about, depending on how far of a section you got to go, traffic that NORRA takes into account. Some of the sections will be, 30 minutes. Some others can be 50, up to an hour and maybe 15 minutes, depending on how big the section is. But the start of it was, from Ensenada to Rancho Nelson. At Rancho Nelson, I think we ended up getting like 50 minutes. So once you get there, you basically stage again after the 50 minutes, and you're following that through your timer on your GPS. That's the clock that basically everybody's running on, is that clock. So you get there and you stage at 50 minutes after you take off from from the transit station, check in. Then from the check in, you have another 10 minutes to get to the starting point. So once you get started, race section is just literally what it is. It's race. You go at the fastest way possible to get to that end of that race stage. And so Saturday, we had no issues. We passed a lot of people. We made a lot of time up on from where we started. And I want to say, I kept taking screenshots of everything. So on, I want to say, let me see, I'm trying to look for it because I know I took a picture of it. So on day one, we started 131st of the vehicles based on our registration and time and everything else. So day one on Friday, we started in 131st spot, and we knew it was pretty far down there, but we were going to make some spots up just because Jim's such a really good driver when it comes down to some of the technical stuff, and I've gotten pretty familiar with the notes and sharing with him and just being in that seat. And again, I've only raced with him twice last year, which was 1,000 and the 500, the NORRA 500 as well. But I always feel very comfortable with him. He's a great guy, great driver. So on let me see on so we went from on Friday we had no issues. Started at 131st. And then made it to San Felipe, checked the car over, really didn't do anything other than just make sure everything was good on it, nothing looked bad, fueled the thing up, and that was it. We were ready for day two. And day two, we ended up getting staged from moving from 131st, we got moved up to 61st on day two, which was from San Felipe to, let me see here, I got it written down. It was from San Felipe to Bay of LA. So day two was from San Felipe to Bay of LA, and that was going to be 254.7 miles with, race sections and transit sections. That one was going to be, what was it? It was 3 special race stages and 3 transit stations as well. So a little bit a mix of everything in there. And then we ended up day 2 to Bay of LA, had no issues. Everything went great. We didn't get passed by any cars or anything else. So, we did pretty good that day. And again, we didn't have any issues at all. And then we went to from there on day 3. Once we were in Bay of LA, it was Bay of LA. Day 3 was Bay of LA to San Ignacio, so which is out, in the middle of this big mission in an oasis, which is amazing when you're coming to it. And the only trouble we did have started for us on day 3, and it started right at about mile marker 11 and 12, or 12, somewhere in between there. We took off out of Bay of LA. Yeah, we took out of Bay of LA, which is day 3, into San Ignacio, and at about mile 11 or 12, fourth gear went out on the transmission. We did not have fourth gear at that point. We were our top speed, with fourth gear when we would get on a flat lake bed or something. We were going 80, maybe 86, 88, maybe at top to get some pretty good speed in that 1600. And after mile 11, the transmission decided it was not going to have fourth gear anymore. So we decided, me and Jim are sitting in the car, we were thinking, okay, what do we do next? Do we assess it, or do we keep going? And luckily, first, second, and third were going in fine. We were not having any issues as far as when we would get into some of the technical sections. We were fine. We were, we weren't needing fourth gear when it came to that. But when it came to the straightaways, that's when we were having issues as far as our speed. And it is worrisome sometimes when you're in the vehicle and the top speed you're going to be going is 63 miles an hour, and you kind of have to start worrying about the other vehicles that are behind you, whether it's a UTV or a truck or anybody that's had some issues on some of the bigger vehicles that can go much faster. That is something to worry about, because your top speed is going to be, once we figured out if we could go with third gear, the most we could probably push out of it without really blowing up the motor and having some really high RPMs was about 63 miles, 64 miles an hour. I believe, I know for sure, I try to keep Jim, even when he would hit 65, I'd remind him, hey man, you're going 65, and this motor is just like revving like a mother, like just crazy. So it was always trying to reel them in, and when you're feeling really comfortable in a vehicle, that's tough, because we would get in some such great rhythms. The crazy part about it that kind of really sucked that about it in a little bit, and I think not just for us, but maybe even for the competitors, was that when we would get into a tight sections where it's very technical, me and Jim were doing great. Unfortunately, we would catch, I said unfortunately, like that's a bad thing, but we would catch some UTVs or other vehicles in those tight sections, just because we were in such good sync of going into those sections and getting around, and we would get right on the bumper of some of these vehicles, asked to get around. They would everybody was very gracious when it came to pressing the button and actually moving out of the way. Like, but I can almost guarantee you that at some point when we would get on a straightaway, they were going to catch us. And I felt kind of bad in a way, because I knew they were going to catch us once. If we did get into a straightaway, a long straightaway for sure, there was going to be issues of them catching us and then going around us again, and then us having to worry about getting around them again if we got into more technical situations. So that was a little frustrating, but hey, it's part of racing. You're doing what you can with what equipment you have left, and so we just did the best we could. So that was day 3 at mile 11, um, leaving out of San Ignacio. Yeah, no, that was leaving out of Bay of LA to San Ignacio. We ended up losing fourth gear, and so we decided to race uh, with the transmission and with just 3 gears, and made it all the way to finish. Had no real other issues with the motor, and just kept pushing it. But when we did get to the first 2 days, didn't do anything to the vehicle really. We just fueled it up and we were good. So on day 3, when we had the transmission issue, we did get to San Ignacio, and I say we, but most of the work, Bob Howell was doing a lot of that work, and the team, the crew, ended up draining the transmission, getting all that oil out, and getting a magnet to see if we could maybe scrape some of the metal pieces that might have been in the pan there of the transmission, and got it as much out as we could, and figured we'd roll the dice and see what would happen the next 4 days, or 3, 4, 5, no, the next 3 days of basically in 3 gears, and hoping that the transmission would hold up for the next 3 days after that, and we wouldn't be stranded out in the middle of the desert because of a transmission finally deciding to give out. So like I said, once we got to San Ignacio, the 3 days after that, we knew we were only going to have 3 gears. Our top speeds was going to be 63 miles an hour, and we were going to have to watch who was coming behind. The only good thing about a stage racing like this is that you kind of end up getting put where your average speed and time is. So you kind of don't worry too much about vehicles behind you getting around you, because you're kind of getting put based on your time. So that's always good, peace of mind in the back of your head, that you don't, that you're going to be put kind of where you belong as far as your speed, what your average speed you're going. So we left, what was it, San Ignacio, and that was day 4. And day 4 was from San Ignacio to Loreto. And so um, that was that was 214.9 miles. And that one was pretty cool because there was just one transit section, and then the rest was all race. So once you got into the race, that was it. It was full on. Once after the transit section was right at the beginning, once you got out of the transit section, straight into race, all the way to the finish line. So, and that was day 4 with 214.9 miles of that day. And one of our biggest concern at that point, obviously, was the start of day 4, was to continue going with only 3 gears and seeing what we were going to be able to do. And we again didn't have any issues. Once we got into the technical stuff, we could catch people. If we got into straightaways, again, we were getting just hammered. Like, there was nothing else we could do because that was as fast as we were going to go without having any real issues. So then that was day 4, and day 5 was Laredo to La Paz. So that was going to be the longest day of the race, which is 366.9 miles total of race and transit sections. So race sections, there was 3, and transit sections, there was also 3. So again, pretty consistent as far as 3 and 3 that day. The only thing that happened to us on day 5 was at the very last special race section, which was 97.1 miles. Before that section, it was from Insurgentes. Yeah, right after Insurgentes, we ended up getting a flat. Oh, so over the 6 days as well, we ended up getting 3 flats. The whole 6 days, we only had to do six flat, or three flats over the 6 days is what we had to change tires. That was it. So but on that day, day 5, when after Insurgentes, we ended up getting a flat tire. We got out, and when we were changing the tire, I noticed there was a bunch of oil on the motor, and seeing that we were really pushing the motor pretty hard with only 3 gears, the RPMs are high. You figure, you might cook the motor at some point. And we were looking at the motor. There was oil all over it. And so we went into the last transit section. And then that was day 5. Yeah. We were going to go into, like I said, the last race stage on day 5, which was going to be the 97.1 miles. And before we got there, we had gotten the flat tire, looked at the motor, saw that there was oil all over the place. So in the transit section, when we went to our pit, we got out, looked at the motor, see where it was coming out of. We found out it was out of a bolt that kind of holds the alternator bracket and also goes into the cam. And there's a little bit more technical as far as the bolt. And what we found out was that we thought that we had broken the bolt. Come to find out, it actually got loose and basically like loosened out of there. So luckily we didn't have a bolt that was broken inside that we were going to have to fix later and thread it and all that other stuff. It was just a bolt that we lost from there, probably from the vibration, the high RPMs, and everything else that we were putting that motor through, seeing that we can only go to 3rd gear. So at that transit section, it got a little tense between us and the crew as far as what we were going to do next on day 5. And you got to remember, when you're running these races, the day before, I knew we had a 3-hour and like 33-minute lead or something like that over not just the second place guy in our class, but then the second place overall in the Legends class. We had a 3 hour and 33 minute um, lead. And so we were going to go into this last section of race section on day 5, the 97.3 miles. And then we were going to have to do a transit section of another 34 miles. So you're talking about 130 miles of trying to push this motor on day 5 to the finish, hoping you get there with plenty of time to fix it, and a shop that's open to find the parts that you're going to need. So there was a lot of tension between what we needed to do next. Do we fix it, or do we, or and well, the other thing is, once we started fixing it, we were going to lose time of getting on the course. So that's just taking us back. Or do we risk it, take the car out into that course in that section? It was getting late. It was probably going to get dark by the time we were going to try and get to the finish line. And do we risk not being out in the middle of the Baja Desert at night or with a blown motor, and then we didn't have any chance to fix it for the final day? So my concern, my opinion, to what I asked Jim. I said, "You want my opinion?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Here's my opinion. My opinion on that is that we put it on the trailer, take the penalty, which the penalty was going to be about 6 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. We had a 3 hour and 33-minute lead, which we were going to lose, but we were going to be able to get into town with plenty of time to try and fix this motor, find the issue, find a parts place in town, in La Paz, that was going to be open, and we could get the parts to fix this motor and get us the opportunity to win our class and win the overall on day 6. So because I figured we had a 3-hour lead, it was still going to take maybe about 2 hours to get through that section, 2 to 3, depending on how fast you're going. So, but I said there's 2 hours plus the 3.5. If anything, we'll probably either be down 30 minutes or be up 30 minutes, depending on what time the other competitor that was in second was going to finish that section. So I did a lot of stuff and a lot of thinking in my brain with the math, with how long what the penalty was going to be, and ultimately Jim decided to take my advice, put it on the trailer, get into town, take the penalty for max time on that section, and on that was Wednesday night, which was the 5th day. Wednesday night, we look at the times, and we were still in the lead after our penalty and everything else. We were in the lead by 33 minutes of our class and the overall in Legends. That's where we were at. We were 33 minutes after all that, and we got time to find a parts place in town to get some parts to fix the car. Bob Howell put the thing back together, figured out what was wrong, what we needed to do, put some oil in it, get it running, get it moving, and assess it that we were going to have still a good motor, and we were still going to have only 3 years to get us to the finish line. So the guy that was in second, I'm trying to remember his name, but he was going to start in front of us. So we were going to have to chase him down or keep him within sight so we didn't lose a lot of time, and then just keep pushing the car as much as we could with 3 years and do our best. So day 6, we get up, car's ready. I think we felt like we did the right thing as far as putting on the trailer, taking the penalty, and getting it to the finish line, and having the opportunity to race on day 6 to San Jose del Cabo from La Paz, and give us an opportunity to either win it or lose it. And we had a 33-minute lead. We take off, and there were a couple other slower vehicles in front of us that we had to get around, but luckily they kind of they seemed to understand that we were pressing to keep moving around some of the vehicles. So we did, and they were very gracious in moving around, moving out of the way. And at one point, I believe maybe we were like a minute or two behind um, the the uh, the guy that was in second place from us, where we were leading for 33 minutes. And the last day was only 171.5 miles. So it was one of the shorter days. Matter of fact, I think it is the shortest mileage of all 6 race days, is 171.5. And that is from, like I said, from La Paz to San Jose del Cabo. And so we end up getting pretty good, where it felt like we were on him, for to not lose too much time. And unfortunately, on one of the corners that I posted on my Instagram, the story, or I posted it on my Instagram, that there was a section that there was a lot of vehicles, I guess, were falling off this one corner, tight corner. And it was a hard right, and we took it a little fast, and we were hanging by a tire, like sideways like this, and all we had was like literally one tire up on the course, and the rest of the vehicle was hanging over. There's some good commentary on that. I guess we were the ones that got it the farthest out there, because there were several vehicles that had gotten into off that corner right there, and we were apparently one of the ones that were worse off. And I'm going to tell you, being in that car in that corner where you kept seeing the ocean on the left side, and like the ocean was way down there. It wasn't like the ocean was up here. It was a big cliff, and everywhere you went through that section, all I could think of was that big cliff on the left side, as we were making turns into the right. And when we missed that corner and went over, I was almost thinking we were going to go over and like tumble down all the way to the bottom of the beach or into the water of the ocean down there, because it was scary to think how steep that cliff was and how much on the edge we were racing that thing. Come to find out, we were fine. It just felt a lot scarier. And so the cool and funny thing about that incident is that Bob Howell, who has prepped Jim Greenway's car and helped us, and helps look over the car every day, to make sure, see what needs to be fixed. The funny thing is, when we got to the finish line, we told them, oh yeah, we went over in that corner, and they're telling us, oh yeah, we went over that corner too, and there was some NORRA officials there, but they didn't have a rope, so we left them, or they didn't have a strap, so Bob Howell left him their strap behind. When they pulled them out, they gave them their straps, and here, pull us out. They were gracious enough to pull them out, and then, because they were in such a hurry, they said, we'll get the strap later, so they left it there. So by the time we were behind them, we went into that same corner and fell over. We were able to use Bob Howell's strap. So it was funny that it was left behind, and we were able to use it to get get out of there with Bob Howell's strap, who we raced with, and their teammates. So that was kind of a cool incident that we ended up getting out of there with Bob Howell's strap without us having to worry about getting ours out. So we end up in that section, and we lost about maybe 8 to 10 minutes on that cliff right there, while they waited for some traffic to clear and be able to pull us out safely without getting the other vehicles in danger. So they end up pulling us out, what felt like an eternity of just sitting there thinking, there's minutes that are ticking away of our 33-minute lead, plus that guy's still moving at a good clip. So we're probably going to lose a lot of time. So once we got out of there, we kind of composed ourselves. We're still a little bit shaken as far as being on this hill with the cliff, with the ocean on the side. So we gingerly made it through the rest of that section. Once we got out of there, we just kept pushing and hoping for the best. So we pushed, and once we made it to the finish line on day 6 into San Jose del Cabo, um, come to find out, we did lose some time, and I think the competitor made some time as well. So we ended up winning our class, the Legends Buggy class, by about 18 minutes, and then won the overall Legends by 18 minutes as well. So we did lose some time, but I think we made some time once we got out of the cliff there, and so it was an interesting race for us. From the beginning, it was very calm, cool, collective. We kind of knew what the heck we were doing, and then once the transmission went out, that was an issue. The motor issue, taking the penalty, going into the last race, knowing you got 33-minute lead, and then hanging by that cliff, knowing that time is ticking away into the opportunity of winning the class and the overall again back to back, was a little uh, uh, nerve wracking. And again, it's I think in that corner, I feel a little bit um, responsible because I it just seemed like on the map, it seemed like it was just a regular corner. I probably should have called it a little bit like a hard right or something, with a little bit more caution, and I didn't, just because it didn't seem like anything to worry about on the map. Unfortunately, luckily, it didn't cost us a lot of time. It cost us some time, but we were still able to get the overall and the class win. So it's just that was pretty much all of it, in a nutshell. What transpired over 6 days of racing the 2025 NORRA 1000, and and I feel very fortunate, very lucky to be given the opportunity to do that with Jim Greenway, that he finds trust and in me, and allows me to partake in those opportunities, and that kind of adventure with him for those 6 days is pretty awesome for me. I just know that how fortunate I am. I don't take it for granted that I get those opportunities, whether it's there or in a trophy truck, a spec truck, or anything else. I just feel very fortunate that I get to see some awesome places in Baja, from coast to coast. When you're racing the NORRA 1000, from all the way from Ensenada, San Jose del Cabo, to race it from the north all the way to the south, in a 6-day stage race, is just awesome. And I encourage anyone that wants to, is thinking about it, to go do it. Find a way to get yourself to that race and partake in the fun that race brings. Um, Met some great people, made some new friends out there, and I'm just excited that I got to be a part of it, and just I can't say enough of all the new friends that I made and the old friends that I have already, that encourage me and support me, and just get excited seeing me out there. It's a little bit different from racing, a trophy truck for sure. One of the funny things I think on day one, which when we were going from Ensenada to San Felipe, um, we're going through a power line road, not Zoo Road, but another one that pretty much was similar. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I was just here like 2 weeks ago at the San Felipe 250, going through this section at over 90 miles an hour. And so in my head, I'm thinking about it, and I look over to Jim and said, "Hey, man, I was just here like 2 weeks ago, going through these same whoops here at over 90 miles an hour." And he says, "Well, how fast are we going?" I said, "Well, we're going 32 miles, buddy." It's like, so it was a big difference in speed, but just I'm telling you, the opportunity to learn and keep learning, just navigating, and getting the opportunity to do it in different vehicles in different ways. Um, and the encouragement that I get from people and guys like Baja Brian who tell me, "Hey, buy a Lowrance, do this, do that." Um, I just feel like my skills are getting better. Obviously, I'm not getting younger, but I feel that my skills are getting better. And unfortunately for me, someday that day is gonna be over. Like my back might hurt or something. Different. Might change that. But I encourage anybody that's looking to get into racing and wants to do it. Start thinking of navigating. There's those opportunities exist out there, and I think there are more um, teams out there looking for some very smart navigators that take it serious and take on the responsibility of doing the job right and doing it to their best of their ability. So again, I think I was thinking maybe I was going to go a lot longer than this, but that's pretty much in a nutshell what happened to Jim Greenway and I in the 1601 car at the 2025 NORRA 1000, and just the experiences that we went through, the ups and downs, the different um, things that we had to do out there to figure out what to do next. And it's always tough because even when I made the call, when I was making, and now again, I didn't make the call. I just done the math as far as taking the penalty in that section. I knew it was going to cost us. I just had um, I had faith that we needed to do that because it was the right thing to do in the situation based on what all the factors were of racing, being able to race the next day and actually finishing the race with a good motor and a good vehicle that would allow us to finish the day racing on the final day or day 6. So, it was again almost to think that I did 1,418.9 miles on 6 days every single day. Being Jim's navigator and Jim driving every single mile other than those last 97 that we had to pull out of. That's quite a feat. And again, I'm fortunate that I've been given those opportunities, that I get to go and experience those things, be around some great people. I want to thank too the team, the Chase team. I think there was four. Let me see. I think there was five guys on our Chase team: Luis, Jose, Cordell, Phil, and Pedro. You guys did an awesome job, man. Like chasing us and chasing both teams. My hats off to you guys for the work that you guys did and chasing us and being there for us and giving us an opportunity to repeat back to back class winners and overall legend winners as well. And I'm hoping that you know that the opportunity for a third time comes. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Like there's but again, it was such a great time to meet so many new people. It was awesome to be able to ride up with Erica and listen to her and her experiences of navigating and how she's gotten where she is. And I'm hoping that I can get her on an episode as well on a podcast and kind of pick her brain so you guys know what's going on with what she does. She's got classes and everything else. So um again, I just I'll get a little bit on just on my personal side of the opportunities to do these races, and just how much fun it is. I really appreciate the people that text me, called me, messaged me during the race in the afternoons, wanting to know how I was doing, and really, really just in awe. Some of them were just like, I can't believe you guys are doing that race still with 3 gears. And what are you guys doing to the car? Are you guys prepping it every night? What are you guys? And I'm like, sometimes we just putting fuel in it and that's it. Like we're going. And that comes down to the testament of just what an awesome job Bob Howell does on prepping that car. And another thing too is congratulations to Bob Howell, who won his class as well, and then won the overall vintage class as well. And he had some stiff competition. I know Lewis Chamberlain was right on his butt, trying to get that overall, and those guys were battling every day, every night. Bob Howell and his son Barrett would be just going through the times and wondering if they've made time or if lost time. So it was cool to see them, and it was awesome to see Bob Howell on the main stage, accepting the overall award that he had been working for so many years, trying to do that. And for me, it's been pretty cool that Jim Greenway got his first overall with me last year, and then for him to do it again with me, it's just awesome, man. Like I I feel very fortunate that I get to experience those things and be a part of it and do the work and put in the work. And I'm just looking forward to the next race. Honestly, I'm like, I am an addict when it comes to getting in these vehicles and putting my skills and what I know, my knowledge to work for the betterment of any team out there. So, crazy enough, I actually don't have a team yet that I'm committed to. I know as of right now, um, I have been asked to race the Baja Nevada, the Legacy 1,000-mile race, and in a spec trophy truck. And I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I don't have anything else. I don't know if I'm going to be racing the Baja 500 with somebody. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have complete faith that God will find me a spot and a position to be where He needs me. And um, to you, everybody that listens to this, everybody that's listened to this damn thing all the way to the end, thank you so much. Like your support, your encouragement, everything just makes a huge difference, because I hope that somehow what you see and what you're looking at, it inspires you. Really, that's all I want, is like, I'm not trying to be somebody that like, oh, look at how much better I am. I'm just hoping that everybody understands that you too can create that opportunity. You can make it possible for yourself to get into these things and be given those opportunities, because I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy that keeps working for those opportunities. And if you are having fun following along with the racing that I'm doing and everything else, and I'm going to tell you, if you keep encouraging me, I'm going to keep doing it. And there's guys or people that I run into at a lot of these events keep telling me how they enjoy listening to these things, my podcast and my ramblings. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you all so much. You guys have no idea what an impact you make when you encourage me, because then it keeps me. I'm not going to stop. And again, I know that none of this is possible without God, and God first. God got me there. God gave me the guidance. God gave me the talents to do what I do, and I cannot thank Him enough for just that, what He's given me. And in the same way, um, He's taken from me as well. And you know what? Like that's how life is. You deal with the adversity and everything that's thrown your way, and you embrace it, and you come to the realization that God has a plan, God's in control, and that and I have faith in that He will put me where He needs me. And just again, I appreciate you guys all listening. Hopefully, I went through it all. If you do have any other questions or need my help in any way, you can always message me on Facebook. You can message me on Instagram at Daniel Plaza, or on at copilotmafia.com, or at copilotmafia. I don't have a .com, at copilotmafia on Instagram or Facebook. Just get a hold of me if you need help in any way, teaching somebody, sharing. I'm not saying I'm a teacher. I can share my knowledge of what I know, what I've done, how I do it, and hopefully that sticks and helps somebody. And that's about all I can do. Again, I am not a professional. I am not better than anybody. I am just doing everything and anything to the best of my ability to better myself and better any team that needs me out there when it comes to off-road racing. So again, thank you. I appreciate everybody for sticking around and listening to this long rant. And I can't say how much I appreciate everybody. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see what's next. And but that's it. That's my wrap up of the 2025 NORRA 1000 with Jim Greenway winning the overall in the Legends class and the Legends Buggies class as well. Until next time, guys, have a great week.